Destined One, you finally made it. Chapter 6, the final stop on your adventure. Relics in hand, mythical weapons unlocked, and the wind at your back, you are ready to tackle the game's final challenges. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and today I'm sharing the secrets of Chapter 6 in Black Myth Wukong. Unlike the other chapters we've discussed, there aren't a whole lot of traditional secrets in this chapter, and it's really meant to serve as a precursor to the final epic battles within the game. Note the S there. By defeating the first boss, the Supreme Inspector, this time for real, you'll receive the Somersault Cloud, which essentially grants you the ability to fly around the entire Chapter 6 zone. Quick aside, I was really impressed that they added a true flight mechanic into an already feature-rich game. Chapter 6 seems massive, but truthfully, it's just built that way to be impressive. For the most part, exploration is a bit pointless as there are only a handful of optional things to do. That being said, let's start with the chapter's optional bosses. There are 6 in total, and they are spread out across the entire physical area of the chapter, which makes them a bit of a pain to locate. For that reason, we'll always start at the Verdant Path Keeper Shrine, which is the easiest way to share the path. The first optional boss is actually close by. Hop on your Somersault Cloud, and then once you get over the cliff, plummet towards the body of water below. Dismount, and after a few seconds, you'll be attacked by Xiao Long of Waves. I'm not sure if this is actually a sibling or relative of the other long dragons we faced, but he's more feral and wild in nature. Defeating the boss will reward you with the Water Ward Orb, a curio that increases defense when in water. Obviously, that's a very niche effect, but could be used strategically for the right fights. The next optional fight is against Lang Bao Bao, the final frog boss in the game, and easily the most difficult to defeat. From the Verdant Path, you'll want to fly out over the cliff and then start heading to the right. You'll want to keep heading to the right until you see a large brown patch of ground against the base of a mountain. Land and walk into the area to trigger a boss fight. Early on, a ton of those heavenly warriors will join the fight, and they're an absolute pain to deal with, so either let Lang Bao Bao kill them, or try and kill them yourself without taking too much damage in the process. A quick tip, when Lang Bao Bao transforms into his elemental form, just avoid all of his attacks. Don't waste time hitting him, because everything will be reflected. Save your spell cooldowns for when he's back in his regular form and susceptible to damage. Once defeated, you'll receive the incredibly powerful curio, Celestial Birthstone Fragment, which, when equipped, ignores an enemy's 4 Bane's resistance. You'll also receive the last Tadpole's material, which should let you cultivate the spirit of Bao Li Gulang, which at max level takes on some of those elemental properties you just experienced firsthand with Lang Bao Bao. The next boss is the Son of Stones, and this one is easy to find. From the Verdant Path, head over the cliff's edge and just keep moving forward. Before engaging him the first time, you'll see the boss perched on the edge of a cliff admiring the view. Take advantage of that first time fight and just unload, because it takes him a hot minute to stand up and engage. Killing the Son of Stone doesn't net you anything noteworthy other than some crafting material. Another rock boss, the Poison Chief, can actually spawn multiple times in multiple locations throughout the chapter. To find it, you're looking for a grassy clearing and one lone boulder in the middle of that area. It's pretty distinct when you see it, but you'll know, because as soon as you approach, the enemy will engage. Killing this also doesn't reward you with anything unique, just more crafting materials. The next boss, the Waterwood Beast, aka Giant Hippo, can be found to the far left side of the map. Hop on your cloud, head out over the cliff, and just keep following the valley to the left until you eventually reach a massive body of water. If you see something bubbling in the middle, you're in the right spot. This is a pretty typical large enemy fight. You've got your standard charges, back kicks, and there's even a cool submerge aspect that you do have to watch out for. Defeating the boss nets you, if you look at that, more crafting materials. The final optional boss actually requires us to take a step back, all the way into 4 other chapters in order for us to acquire the right items to truly activate the encounter. In order to fight the giant Shigandang, we need to acquire the 5 Skadas, which are scattered across each chapter. In Chapter 1, you can find this shortly after the Front Hills Keeper Shrine. From the shrine, simply follow the path into the forest, and instead of turning right to fight the boss, the Bull Guard, head left towards the end of the small stream. A cutscene will roll, and you'll see a monkey investigating a stone head. Approach the head and interact with it for the first item, the Skada of Form. In order to claim the Skada of Feeling in Chapter 2, you first need to defeat the Shigandang boss, which can only be activated by finding the 6 Buddha Eyes scattered across the Frey Cliff part of the world. We have a full breakdown of their location in our Chapter 2 Secrets video, so go check that out. Defeating Shigandang will reward you with the second Skada of Feeling. The Skada of Thought can be found in Chapter 3 near the Mindfulness Cliff. From the shrine, walk onto the small wooden bridge nearby and drop down. This will land you on a narrow pathway that will be occupied by enemies. Clear them out and reach the end to receive the Skada. The fourth and final Skada can be found near the Purifying Spring Shrine in Chapter 4. From the shrine, head into the large area and head left. Across the pond at the bottom of the rocky boundary is the Skada of Choice. With 4 Skadas in hand, it's time to claim the fifth and final from the largest boss I have personally ever fought in a game, the Giant Shigandang. To find it, we'll head back to the Verdant Path. Mount your cloud and head straight over the cliffs back towards the Son of Stone. Fly into the valley that he was guarding, and at the back of that area, turn right and you'll see a small crack in the mountain. Venture in and you'll eventually fly into a massive open area. Fly low here as the boss will activate sensing the 4 Skadas and will shout, knocking you from the sky, and you will take fall damage. The fight itself is actually incredibly easy, you just need to wait for him to slam his fists into the ground. When he does that, smack the large blue crystals until they pop, dealing massive damage. After a few rounds of that, the boss will fall, and then you can climb onto his lifeless body for the final item, the Skada of Consciousness. With your 5 Skadas in hand, you can take your items to Zhu Dog back in Zodiac Village. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a dedicated video about that as well. He'll have a new option that allows you to turn the items into a new medicine, the 5 Skadas Pill, which slightly raises health, mana, and stamina. Chapter 6 also features a hidden armor set, one that's incredibly easy to obtain, if you know where to look. I'll admit, the location is clever. Starting at Verdant Path, you'll want to hop on your Somersault Cloud and then fly back down towards the path you started on in this zone. There in front of you is an inconspicuous plateau, no different from the hundreds of others in this area. Land and nestled within a thicket of trees is a full set of armor. This is nearly identical to the golden armor that's part of the main Chapter 6 progression, but the Fortune Favor set is not nearly as good. With all 4 pieces equipped, you gain additional defense based on the number of Great Sage Talents awakened. These are the specific bonuses you get with each relic. Sadly, you can't upgrade these pieces at Yin Tiger for additional benefits. Now, fun fact, apparently this was the original set of armor designed for Feng Wukong, but it wasn't widely liked, so the team decided to redo the armor design, but instead of scrapping it entirely, they added it to the world as a fun little secret. While not a secret, I did want to call attention to the Feng Tail General, which is that giant grasshopper that moves around the entire map. This is actually one of the main bosses you need to defeat, but in order to do that, you need to pass certain stat checks. For starters, you need to use your cloud to elevate on top of the boss's back. That's step number 1. Step 2 requires you to have at least 380 stamina. When you interact with the grasshopper's antenna the first time, he's going to jump around the map. You'll have to hold onto that interact button for 3 full jumps, and then you'll be automatically detached. For the next step, you'll need some burn resistance. I don't know the magical number you need, so I approached it by re-speccing my Celestial Medicine, which you can do at Zhu Dog in Zodiac Village. I also made sure I had the body cooling powder on my hotbar right before the interaction, and finally I equipped the Fireproof Mantle Vessel. Once you detach from the boss the first time, you have a small window to adjust. It's during that period where I popped my potion and activated the vessel. I'm sure it's way overkill, but it allowed me to complete the encounter and claim the Golden Fang Tail Crown, necessary for the main story. To close out, I do want to talk about the game's secret ending. This is something that every player will have access to, and if you've been following our secret series, should be easily within reach. Now, I'm not going into the finite details about every step of this journey because we cover all of the pieces in each of our chapter-specific videos, but I do want to make sure you know what the prerequisites are for finding the secret conclusion to the game. For starters, you can beat the game's main story ending. This does not lock you out of the secret ending, you just need to be careful not to start a New Game Plus run by accident after the fact. The general gist is that you need to defeat the end bosses in each of the secret areas. The first is Elder Jinchi in the ancient Guanyin Temple in Chapter 1. The second is Fuban, the giant beetle, in the Kingdom of Sahali in Chapter 2. In Chapter 3, you must complete the Treasure Hunter questline. This is a multi-part quest that will take you across the chapter, ending with the boss fight against the green-capped Martialist. In Chapter 4, you must defeat the Dusk Veil found in the Purple Cloud Mountain, and finally, you must defeat the Bijue Golden-Eyed Beast at the end of the Bijue Cave. By completing all of those prerequisites, you can venture back to Chapter 3 and the Great Pagoda. If you've never found this location, teleport to the Snow-Veiled Trail Keeper Shrine. Head away from the shrine and across a rope bridge. Keep following the snowy drifts until eventually you reach a massive structure. If you've done all the prerequisites, you'll see Buddha in the hall in a cinematic will roll, after which you'll be teleported to Meijan Peak. There you'll have the chance to fight Erlang the Sacred Divinity, the boss you first encountered during the tutorial. With that, it all comes full circle. This is an epic encounter, and quite honestly, I am not going to spoil all of the great moments and phases throughout the fight, but there are rewards for defeating Erlang, including a new transformation spell, Azure Dome, which gives you the power of the Stone Monkey, which, you should be familiar with at this point. You'll also receive some Kun Steel and Celestial Ribbon. However, the real prize is the Tri-Point Double-Edged Spear, which has a unique effect similar to that of the other spear in the game, but has the added bonus of shooting out swords when executing a forceful thrust, which is pretty awesome. So there you have it, our 6th and final secrets video for Black Myth Wukong. Guys, we have had an absolute blast playing this game and bringing you these videos. So do me a solid, if you appreciate the work that went into this secret series, hit that thumbs up and of course subscribe. We've got more Black Myth Wukong coming your way, so keep it right here. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching and play on.